Do words like fishy, bland, and slimy remind you of salmon? Well, if they do, you were exactly like me just a few years ago. I couldn't eat salmon. The only salmon that I would eat would be in sushi. I know that's kind of weird, right? I don't eat cooked salmon, but I eat raw salmon. I don't know. I just didn't like it. But then I went out to eat, and a friend of mine had me try a dish that they ordered, and it was maple glazed salmon. When I tried it, I was like, wow, this is not at all what I pictured salmon to taste like. And from then I started enjoying eating salmon. And this recipe today that I'm going to make is a very kid-friendly, delicious, and awesome way to introduce salmon into your diet. Let's get to it.
Oh, Stizzy, that tastes so good.
YouTube, what's good? It's your favorite food god here, Stizzy's Palate. And yes, I said food god. That guy in Miami who claims to be that. No, that's me. Don't take that away from me, Johnny. Today, on this episode, we will be making a maple glazed salmon. We're gonna throw together a quick marinade. It's gonna sit in the fridge for about 30 minutes to an hour. We're gonna get our grill nice and hot, grill it, and serve it over either some vegetables or some rice or whatever you would like. Again, most of these ingredients are already in your house, and this is a great way to introduce salmon into those households, into those palates who don't like it. If you don't like salmon, please give this recipe a shot. I promise I will change your mind on eating salmon for the rest of your life. All the ingredients are here. Let's get to it. I start the marinade off with 1/3 cup of maple syrup. To the maple syrup, I will add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, freshly squeezed. And don't forget to roll those lemons out before you squeeze them. 2 tablespoons of orange juice. I am also using freshly squeezed, but if you don't have any oranges in the house, feel free to use regular orange juice. 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, and 2 cloves of crushed garlic. And make sure the cloves you are using are fairly large. You don't want small cloves. And again, folks, this recipe is meant to be budget friendly. It's meant to use ingredients that you already have in your kitchen, and it's meant to be super easy and super quick to make. And that's exactly what we're doing. So once your garlic is in, go ahead and follow that up with 1 tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning. And if you don't have Old Bay and you're like, I don't want to buy it because I have no use for it, just use paprika or chili powder, or don't use it at all. Finally, we're going to give a dash of kosher coarse salt and a dash of freshly cracked black pepper. And you can pepper and salt to your taste and liking. Some like more, some like less. But do keep in mind that we are using soy sauce, which does have a lot of salt in it. Once all the ingredients are combined, go ahead and whisk those together and make sure everything is well incorporated. And when you are done, the marinade is ready to go. I like to marinate my salmon in a gallon-sized plastic bag. And as you see, I am using 4 pieces of salmon, about pound and a half. Each piece is probably between 4 to 6 ounces. Some might be less, some might be more. Just cut them up to whatever liking and size that you want. Go ahead and place them in your Ziploc bag or in your dish, and just simply pour in your marinade as so. And once all the marinade is poured in, go ahead and seal up that bag. Make sure get all that air out before you seal it. And then just massage the salmon and make sure that marinade just gets nicely evenly distributed between each piece. Now that we have our salmon marinating, you want to throw that either in the refrigerator if you're going to do it for longer than 30 minutes, or just keep it out on your countertop at room temperature if you're only marinating it for 30 minutes, depending on how much time you have. I recommend doing it for about an hour if you can, but make sure if you do put it in the fridge, you take it out about 15 to 20 minutes before you cook it so it can come up to room temperature and you don't put any cold fish on your grill, pan, or oven. See you in about an hour. So the salmon sat out in the fridge for about an hour, and I took it out for about 15 to 20 minutes so it could come to room temperature. I preheated my grill, which is currently at about 550 degrees. I want it piping hot. I have the salmon right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the salmon pieces skin side down first, and I'm gonna take the excess marinade and I'm gonna pour it into this bowl. And while the salmon is cooking, I'm just gonna baste the top with a brush to ensure that the salmon is extremely flavorful. Let's begin to cook. Go ahead and put your salmon skin side down on a piping hot grill, just as such. And what you want to do now is take the marinade and pour it into a bowl and use a brush and brush the top of the salmon every 2 to 3 minutes. And that will add an extra layer of that wonderful marinade and flavor. And here I go again, basting the salmon. And I'm gonna cook it for about 6 minutes with the skin side down, maybe even 8. After about 6 to 8 minutes, I'm going to give it a flip and give that flesh side a nice char. And I will still continue to baste the skin side, even though we don't eat the skin. I'm still going to baste the skin and the sides of the salmon to give it just more flavor. I feel like it helps, and I have marinade left over, so why not, right? It's better than throwing it away. And after 12-minute cook time, you are ready to take them off. With such a quick cook time and an easy recipe, we have finally accomplished some super delicious and awesome looking salmon. Salmon took about 12 minutes of total cook time. We brushed the salmon with the marinade about every 2 to 3 minutes. And look at what we have. Now let's give it a taste test. And now the best part of the episode, when I take a bite. Excuse me for eating in front of you, but that's just MasterChef privileges. Wow. Got a bone. Sorry guys. I tend to get carried away a lot when I taste my food and one bite turns into 3 or 4 bites, but this salmon is just absolutely unreal. It's sweet, it's savory, it just melts in your mouth, so delicate. Flavors just pop in your palate when you take that first bite. I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't like salmon, if you don't eat salmon regularly, try this recipe. I promise you, you will be addicted. Your family will love it, your kids will love it, everyone will love it. Absolutely delicious. Mwah! Krasavchik.
In the kitchen wrist, twisted like it's stir fry. In the kitchen wrist, twisted like it's stir fry.